And welcome back to the GCC edition of A Higher Degree. I'm Jane Flores here with my guest Stephen Tenorio Jr., author of his first novel, An Ocean in a Cup. It is a novel, kind of a romanticized look at the 1890s through the eyes of his main character, Tomas, who struggles with some adversity. And you use the ocean as a metaphor in this novel. Right. The opening scenes and the closing scenes are a struggle with the ocean, where he actually has to, it's a physical struggle for survival in the ocean. And the first scene where he goes to save an old man, and then the second scene when he is in the ocean and he's fishing in a boat, and it's a struggle. So what was that metaphor for?
Well, the first one is, like you said, it's a struggle against the ocean. What more powerful, you know,
there is nothing more powerful.
And so he's out there and he struggles. He saves an old man, but this just kind of sets the tone for the type of person he is. He is that type of individual to go out to the ocean to save somebody. But that, and you're right, it's supposed to symbolize, I guess, this man versus nature type of conflict. But, you know, when you get to the end, what you're dealing with is there's a lot of dynamics that have occurred. If you're reading the book from beginning to end, just kind of think of it like you're walking through and you got sticker birds. And as you keep going to the end, you just collect more sticker birds. So by the time you get to the end of the ocean, all those sticker birds just kind of culminate. Because what's happening is, you know, we talked about it earlier, the dark side culminates. You know, the struggle within himself culminates. The struggle against nature culminates. It's just, you know, it's just this overwhelming force from within him, the supernatural part, the psychological part, the natural part. It just comes crashing down, and then he survives it. But he survives it in a way that explains the title of the book. And it would be very disingenuous for me to explain what the title of the book is.
You do learn it at the end.
The title of the book is it's metaphorical to him. It's very subjective to him. But it makes all the sense in the world. And a lot of people who've read it, they told me when they read the title, they're like, yeah, kind of like Guam, right? Kind of like me, kind of like us. And it's nice to hear stuff like that, because you know, those are the type of things you want to hear as an author, as a novelist. You want to ensure that the message gets through. So yeah, you have these large dynamics. But you know what I tried to do, and I've been down to talking to people, even at GVB, and I said, you got to read this book, because people who read the book say, you know, it's great. I have someone who bought 2 books from me, and he sent it off island. He's not from Guam, but he's been here for about 2 years, and he's like, I don't have any other book that kind of talks about the way Guam is, you know, in the way that I experience it. The water, the sand, you know, the hills, the temperature. You know, it's very temperamental. It's hot, then it's raining, then it's gone. Then the water is strong, and then it's not. And you know, the strength of the heat, the humidity is incredible. The air is just soaked with water, and then it's gone. So there's a lot of that happening. So so you get the feel of island life.
So you get the feel, exactly.
And my narratives are very image-driven. You know, they're
I noticed that. Yeah, you have a lot. You draw a lot from the surroundings. So not to, you know, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. So you know, some people have said, well, it's a bit of a cerebral read, and some people have said, no, it's okay. You know, so I guess it depends on the reader. I didn't go out there and test it with 100 readers, but I did go out and test it with about 20 or 30 readers, and the feedback was what you would expect from interpretive fiction. There's a lot of discussion. Now, if you're looking for a book that is action-packed, like one of the who's the novelist with the lawyer, John Grisham.
Oh, John Grisham, right?
You know, something like that. Those types of novels. This is not that.
Oh no, this isn't. This is a heavy interpretive fiction. It's more along the lines of James Joyce and William Faulkner. These types of authors, they're more about you sitting down and reflecting. Right. It's more about reflection. The next novel I'm working on, I'm like 30 pages in. I'm going to try to shoot for that. So hopefully that works out that way.
We'll talk about that in just a minute. But I really wanted to talk a little bit about your GED experience at GCC and why you went back to get the adult high school. Now, as you said earlier, most people who go for their GED do so because somewhere along the way in their life they took a detour from high school, for whatever reason. Sometimes it's adversity, most of the time, and or teenage troubles, whatever. But so your experience, talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, I had a daughter at a young age. You know, she's you know, I raised her since. Her mom and I we separated, but for the most part we try, you know, our best to be the type of parents, you know, we all want to be. And that was difficult at the time of going to school and caring for her. So I needed a job, got a GED. But then I was a substitute teacher for a while, and I started to enroll into college. And then I would be talking to all these students, telling them, you know, education is important. And I just kind of felt it was something I needed to do. So I took time out from college and actually went back and got an adult high school diploma.
Even though you had a GED?
And some of the concerts were like, you know, that's kind of, why are you doing that? It's kind of crazy. I said, you know, at the end of the day, really, it meant a lot to me. And you know, it's true.
So it was just a personal thing.
Oh
from
gosh, and you
yourself.
know what? I have a master's degree and a law degree and a bachelor's degree. You know, I went to JAG school, and I could tell you that they want the GED. Because they want the degree that you finish high school with, and that's what they always want. So I've never really given out the adult high school diploma for anything except to myself.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's just mine, you know, and I wanted to do that for me, and it made such a big difference.
What was the? And we'll talk about this. We need to take a break. Zach is telling me we need to take a break, but I want to talk about your experience at adult high school and about your second novel. We will be back with Stephen Tenorio Jr. and Ocean in a Cup right after this. So stay with us.
Get the story from the Pacific News Center.
Half a day and good evening, Guam. Thanks for tuning in.
Get both sides. Get it right. Get it from reporters you can trust. Clint Rigel, Josh DeCanco, Betsy Brown, and Kevin Kerrigan.
The doctor who accepted
Party
the
of Guam held a meeting.
Education Board has named a
Monday
new
groundbreaking of the Hagana Bridge construction project.
We've got the story. You can get it too. The Pacific News Center. News you can trust.
A Higher Degree, news and views from the University of Guam and Guam Community College. Hosted by UOG's Kathleen Moore-Lynn and GCC's Jane Flores. Bringing you the cutting edge of education on Guam. Look for A Higher Degree every Sunday afternoon at 3:30 on Fox 6 and 6 p.m. on ABC 7.
You see, I've been on TV before, you know, and I know how to dance. Watch this. Oh, ooh, oh, yeah. Woo, ooh, ooh, yeah. Notice the fingers. Notice the fingers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. See? See how my head's... No? See? See, it's all about the old school, you know? You gotta put that in some of your moves, you know?
Power 98 is streaming online. Log on to power98.com for a live stream of Guam's official party station, or you can catch us in your Android or Apple devices absolutely free in your App Store or Android Marketplace. Power 98. Download this.
And welcome back again to this edition of A Higher Degree, the GCC edition of A Higher Degree. Jane Flores with Stephen Tenorio Jr., author of An Ocean in a Cup, and also a GCC GED and adult high school graduate. And as you just explained in the previous segment, you got your GED, and then you were teaching, and then you went back and got your adult high school diploma. Now, what the difference is, the GED, you just go and you take a test and you pass the GED. Right. And in adult high school, how long did you have to take classes?
I might be wrong, but I think it was 2 semesters. You know, maybe one more. I'm pretty sure I was almost there for a near year. It was so long ago. I think it was in '97. You know, it took a while, but it was great. I mean, there's some. It's not directly in the book, but there's just a lot of twists I have in there, and because there's a lot of twists that I saw. And there was one twist I always talk about in GCC, adult high school. You know, you get the opportunity to work and go to school with a whole array of people.
This is true.
You know, I mean,
they're from ages 18 to 40.
Right,
or
and there's
whatever.
people I went to school with who were in Continental, you know, working Continental, and there were people I had worked with who were doing well in business, and then there's I'm not too sure if you guys have the release program with DOC for adult high school, but there was 1 or 2 people from DOC, or it may have been the halfway house, I'm not sure, but DOC was monitoring them when they came to class. And it was so interesting because when we talk about Shakespeare, the DOC inmates, when we talk about, you know, Hamlet or Henry V. You know, there's always there's a lot of bravado.
The violence.
Yeah,
right,
a lot of bravado, a lot of discussion about justice and what's right or what's wrong, and the development of the character from, you know, as a warrior.
Right.
But then we talked about Romeo and Juliet. They're always quiet in the back. I always tease them, and they would laugh. I said, "Don't you have anything to say about Romeo and Juliet?" They'll start laughing. They go, "No, you can talk about it." So
well, that's the one thing about adult high school is that when you go to adult high school classes, normally you're there. I mean, kids in high school are in high school because they have to be in high school. When you're in adult high school, you're in high school because you want to be there, because you need to be there. Right. And so it's a little bit different flavor going on there within the classroom and within the reasons for people to be there, and so the interactions that happen.
Right, and just in light of everything we said, just to kind of take this whole cosmos and tie it down to, you know, one small ball, is that, you know, when you go to a adult high school program, at least when I did it, and I opted to do it instead of just going straight to college with, which is what most people would have done, and a lot of people have done. I've met a lot of people with medical degrees and law degrees, even when I lived in Seattle.
Had a GED.
Had a GED, PhD. You know, I met a professor, he had 2 PhDs, you know, and he had a GED when I was in Seattle. And the one thing that you do have when you go to adult high school diploma program is, you know, you wear kind of this badge on you where you're doing it because in some ways it's the noble thing for you to do, because there's other options for you, but this is the path that you're going to take. You're going to spend that extra time as an adult. Now you have the liberties of the world of simply saying, no, I don't have to. You know, when people turn 18, you know, that's one of the liberties you have.
Right.
So one of those liberties include, hey, I'm going to get a GED and then I'm going to go to college or do what I want. To subject yourself to an adult high school program and then to go through that whole process, you know, it's really, it's something you have to internalize. So it's like, so again, you know, I mean, it just draws back to that pre-war generation concept, and my character is, you do the noble thing. That's the noble thing.
Well, also the difference too is that as opposed to going in and taking a test, which is, you know, whatever there are 2 different ways to do this. If you need to take the test and get on, do it. But going through adult high school also puts you in the classroom setting with people who are there, who are more probably prone to discussion or prone to, you know, take part in the class, that type of thing. So you do get that classroom flavor with the adult high school.
And, you know, and that's the other thing too, is when you're dealing with the adult high school student, at least again from my experience, and this was then, and it may be the same now, is that when they walk into the class, you know, they're walking in having come off 100 things they had to do within that day or week.
You're an adult, you had to feed the kids, you had to go to work, you had to get everything ready. So you're right, it's a noble thing. It's
so for them to, you know, go through that process again, and, you know, and then even, you know, the tough part too is when you're going through this program, you know that you have other opportunities out there. You can simply say, well, I don't have to do this, I'm going to go and do that.
What did your daughter think? Was she old enough to know that you were going through adult high school?
Yeah, you know, no, she wasn't. At the time, she was probably about 4 or 5 years old. But, you know, she has a lot of friends too who've had it tough, and young parents, and I think what has happened is that in some ways she says, well, my dad did it, you know, you guys can do that. So, you know, if there's a couple of kids out there, you know, living outside, you know, on Guam or outside Guam, in Guam and outside Guam, it's great if they look at me and they say, well, you know what, if he did it, then I can do it. Because, you know, I mean, in this new world, right, a lot of the things people ask is, well, what's in it for me? Well, I think what's in it for me is that if more people do it, it just makes things easier for me, because these are the things I enjoy and the kind of things I want to promote and the kind of things I want to see out there. So if more people make those type of tough, noble decisions, then I think what's going to happen is you start developing a type of community that you want to live in. So, you know, I mean, that's what's in it for me. I mean, it sounds kind of long-winded and kind of cheesy, but the truth is, I mean, we're all from this island. Who doesn't want to live in a better island?
Exactly.
Right? Who doesn't?
Yeah. We are almost out of time, but quickly, your second novel, does it have a title? What's it about?
Well, you know, real fast, yeah. I started it. I'm about 30 pages in. You know, it's...
you were saying Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah, so if you read, if you're familiar with Slaughterhouse-Five, there's a great part in the beginning, and the narrator in that book says, I wrote the smarty book, and that, you know, I'm done. Now I'm going to write the fun book.
Now I'm going to write the fun book.
Yeah, so this one is more of a fun book. And,
did we have a title yet?
No, but, you know, there's a lot of boony dogs in it, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Okay, kind of a malfunction kind of book?
Well, you know, You know, I can't help it. I try to have a little bit more fun, and then my sisters and my family and a friend of mine says, you know, I see what you're trying to do, but it's not you. And they're right. I rewrote it. So unfortunately, it's going to have that elegance, you know, the sophistication.
It has to be you.
Yeah, it has to be me. So there's going to be that type of developmental writing where some people are going to say, oh, he did it again. Why couldn't he write it easier?
We're almost out of time. Thank you so much for being here. Ocean in a Cup, Stephen's first book. We'll look for the second one. Congratulations, and it was great to have you on the show.
All right, thank you very much.
Take care. Have a good day, everybody.
All right.